In the heart of an ancient forest, nestled among towering cedars and murmuring streams, stood the monastery, a sanctuary of peace and wisdom. It was here that Akira, a young man plagued by uncontrollable bouts of rage, sought guidance from the venerated Zen master, Takeshi. As Akira knelt before the wizened monk, he bowed his head in shame. "Venerable one, I come to you in desperation. My anger burns like a wildfire, consuming all in its path. Relationships, opportunities, even my own sense of self. I have tried to douse these flames, but they only seem to grow more intense. Teach me the way to inner peace." Takeshi regarded the young man with a gentle gaze, his eyes reflecting a depth of understanding forged through decades of spiritual pursuit. "My child," he said, his voice carrying the weight of ancient wisdom, "the path to mastering one's emotions is paved with mindfulness and compassion. Come, let us tend to the garden." Perplexed yet intrigued, Akira followed the Zen master into the monastery's meticulously maintained Zen garden. There, amid the carefully raked gravel and artfully placed rocks, Takeshi knelt and began to tend to the delicate bonsai trees that dotted the landscape. "You see, Akira," he began, his gnarled hands gently pruning the miniature branches. "These bonsai trees are a reflection of our own inner state. Just as they require patient, mindful care to thrive, so too must we nurture our own minds and emotions with the same diligence." Akira listened intently, his eyes fixed on the master's deft movements. "Anger," Takeshi continued, "is like a raging storm, powerful, destructive, and indiscriminate in its path. Yet, like all storms, it is born of impermanent conditions, arising and subsiding like the ebb and flow of the tides." As he spoke, Takeshi gestured towards the garden's serene pond, its surface rippling gently in the breeze. "Observe the water, my child. When a pebble is cast into its depths, it creates ripples that distort the surface, obscuring the clarity beneath. But if we wait, with patience and equanimity, the ripples eventually dissipate, and the water returns to its natural state of stillness and reflection." Akira nodded, beginning to grasp the wisdom in the master's words. "So too is it with the mind," Takeshi said. "When the winds of anger blow, they stir the waters of our consciousness, clouding our perception and leading us to act in ways that cause harm to ourselves and others. But if we can cultivate the practice of mindfulness, of observing our thoughts and emotions with non-judgmental awareness, we create the space to let the storm pass without being swept away by its currents." Placing his pruning shears aside, Takeshi turned his full attention to Akira. "The true path to mastering anger lies not in suppression or avoidance, but in embracing it with compassion, for ourselves and for the suffering that fuels the flames within." Reaching into the folds of his robe, the master withdrew a small bell and handed it to Akira. "Whenever you feel the fires of rage igniting within you, ring this bell. Let its gentle chime serve as a reminder to pause, to breathe, and to observe the arising of your anger with the same gentle curiosity you would extend to a friend in need." Akira cradled the bell in his hands, its weight a tangible reminder of the lessons he was about to embark upon. Over the following weeks and months, Akira diligently applied the teachings of Takeshi, practicing mindfulness and compassion in his daily life. Each time anger threatened to consume him, he would ring the bell, its clear tone cutting through the haze of emotion, beckoning him back to the present moment. Gradually, he learned to greet his anger not as an enemy to be vanquished, but as a teacher, a messenger from the depths of his own psyche, offering insights into the roots of his suffering. With each passing day, the storms grew gentler, the waters of his mind calmer, and his capacity for equanimity deeper. It was during one such moment of mindful observation that Akira experienced a profound realization. As he sat, watching the ebb and flow of his breath, he saw with crystal clarity how his anger was tied to deeply ingrained patterns of thought, judgments, expectations, and attachments that had taken root over the course of his life. In that moment, he understood that true freedom from anger lay not in its eradication, but in transcending the very conditions that gave rise to it. With this newfound wisdom, Akira embraced the practice of compassion. For himself, for those who had caused him pain, and for the shared humanity that bound them all together in the great tapestry of existence. As the seasons changed and the years passed, Akira's transformation blossomed like the delicate bonsai trees he had once tended. Where anger had once reigned, there now dwelled a profound sense of equanimity, a calm acceptance of the ever-changing nature of life, and a deep well of compassion from which he could draw strength and resilience in the face of adversity. And though the storms of emotion still arose within him from time to time, they no longer held the power to sweep him away. For Akira had learned to anchor himself in the present moment, to observe the arising and passing of phenomena with the gentle curiosity of a Zen master, and to respond to life's challenges with the grace and wisdom of one who had tasted the freedom that lies beyond the chains of anger and attachment. In the twilight of his years, Akira would often return to the monastery, seeking the counsel of his beloved teacher, Takeshi. And as they tended to the Zen garden together, pruning the bonsai trees and raking the gravel in meditative silence, a profound sense of gratitude would fill Akira's heart. Gratitude for the teachings that had transformed his life, and for the wisdom that had shown him the path to lasting peace. For in the end, the true mastery of one's emotions lies not in their eradication, but in the cultivation of a mind that can encompass them with compassion, equanimity, and a deep understanding of their impermanent nature. It is a journey that begins with a single step, a single breath, and a willingness to embrace the storms that rage within, not as adversaries to be conquered, but as opportunities for growth, insight, and the ultimate realization of our vast and boundless potential. The moral of this Buddhist story is that anger and negative emotions, when left unchecked, can cause tremendous harm and leave lasting scars, just as the nails damaged the fence. However, with mindfulness, patience, and a compassionate approach to our own suffering, we can learn to control the storms of rage that arise within us. Like the removing of the nails, healing the wounds caused by anger requires dedicated effort over time. And even when the surface has healed, the scars and memory may remain, a humbling reminder of anger's destructive power. Ultimately, the story teaches that rather than suppressing anger, we must develop self-awareness to identify the roots of this emotion and respond with wisdom and equanimity. Through contemplative practices like mindfulness, we can observe anger without being consumed by it, and make the choice in each moment to act with compassion rather than harmfulness. By committing to this ongoing inner work of emotional mastery, we free ourselves from the chains of anger and open the door to deeper peace, understanding, and fulfillment in our lives and relationships. The path is long, but the rewards of unshakable calm and clear seeing are immeasurable. If this story resonated with you, if you too feel buffeted by the winds of anger and difficult emotions, know that you have the power to transform. Subscribe to our channel and join a community committed to exploring the profound teachings of Buddhism and the path to emotional mastery. Together, we will learn to ring the bell of mindfulness, to approach our storms with compassion, and to ultimately transcend the chains of anger that bind us. Hit the notification bell, and let this be the first step on your journey towards unshakable inner peace and the realization of your highest potential.